Hello, Tricio. Um, I'm not sure. I feel like it's been well, so the contenders season thing is over, I think, because they had their main season and then Gauntlet. Um, I know that there's some Asia games going on right now, not contenders, but like unrelated. Like there was a Shanghai Dragons versus Dallas Fuel show match that happened like last night or something. That has some really good gameplay from both teams, obviously. Um, yeah, I don't know. I would guess that the skins are like so they've been doing a DPS and a support so far, right? So my guess is that they're probably gonna keep doing that. I think BAP is maybe pretty likely. I don't know, just my wild guess. Um, as far as I know, not right now. I don't think there's any way to get the. Yeah, there's no live games on any of the countries as far as I'm aware. I think every country and region finished up their gauntlet challenge and stuff. Um, today I'm looking at some Reinhardt slash Orisa gameplay from Lightwaves. And then I might talk about where the meta is probably going to be shifting as a brief talk anyways. So okay. So I know you're going to be watching this probably in the recording, Lightwaves, but remember that the main goal of a main tank is uh to basically hold or take areas of the map that the enemy team needs in order to win fights. So a lot of the times they'll be standing in main. It'll basically always be on the front line of your enemy team. Sometimes though it will be like blocking a flank or something, or like because like if an enemy team doesn't have a front line really, like in the ball, tracer, whatever comp, you're not gonna be sitting there on Rhine on cart because you're just doing nothing. That in that case you'd be like taking the side angle to block out their Sigma from taking any aggro or anything like that. So remember and be thinking about where you want to be and where the enemy team wants to be, and then like kind of doing the math on that. In terms of your guys' comp, it's basically a spam comp, has the ball with the Orisa, which is like basically like if you play a tracer in a spam comp, that's all chill. You will basically just be looking for halts for your own damage. There isn't really much combos except for maybe nade. And on ladder, I don't really expect there to be combos anyways. The other thing is maybe pulling people in when you see your ball going in, because you can get some big slam combos to get him a lot more ult charge and potentially set up more kills for your McCree and Torb. Probably could have dodged that. Be careful on taking too much damage before the fight, because like your team, like if you're thinking about like what space your team needs here, it's like okay, well, so you're playing the spammy comp. Your team, like I like that you're getting like a little extra spam damage out here, and there's no harm in like using the shield as far as I can tell, uh, beforehand because you'll have it back up again already, and your Ana is gonna be able to get some ult charge or Mercy or whoever. But I want to make sure that you're playing back to this corner, or this corner, or this corner, or this corner, somewhere with longer sight lines and more angles, because Like, the problem is if you're holding up here in like this really brawly kind of fashion, you're going to be at a strict disadvantage because the enemy team is going to have more brawl power than you here by like a pretty significant margin, especially thanks to like the Brine, Junk, and Zarya. So like you can take the brawl phase, and this comp that you have can play in a brawly fashion, but the problem is you need to make sure that you have enough time to burn the resources from the enemy team to make sure that it's an even matchup once you enter that brawl phase. I don't really love this shield because it's like, well, okay, what's it doing? Like, it's blocking a little extra damage, yeah, and your McCree can take like a couple extra pot shots, but the thing is your team doesn't really have any good sightlines here, and they can shoot at it from right here pretty easily, and they can disengage from that shield very easily. Like, it's very non-committal, and you want your shields to be very much committed in, because like you can think of it like a monkey bubble, where it's like if you're going in with a shield on Orisa, like it feels like a disposable cooldown. It's not really disposable. Like you're going all in on that. I guess I'll keep it lighter on the Orisa since you specifically asked about the Reinhardt, but I like this kite back here. This shield is a little better for, like, you're still getting some spam and gives you a little more spacing. I like that you're just chilling there. Good discipline on not using Fortify right away. This is kind of scary. Yeah, good kite back. I like this. Yeah, good halt. I like this. This is all fun. I don't feel like you need to move closer here, because that shield is actually going to be less protecting your teammates. Yeah, back up to Arch. You don't really need to stand in the middle. I would rather you stand on corner, because then you have protection against things like that shatter. Like, holding the corners of this archway is just a lot stronger of a position. Okay, here's the meat of it. So Ryan, he's in a tricky state right now because he's really weak to all the angles and stuff. Fortunately, the enemy team doesn't really have any diver angles, so you'll be able to play it in a pretty normal brawl setup. So what you're going to be doing, so you do have to remember that you have less team support, you have less heals, less pocketing, and less support from your off tank. However, you have much more power to, like, your DPS are going to be much more powerful because they're going to get more pocketing from the Mercy, or I guess you might, because Mercies in this rank are kind of brain dead sometimes. I don't want to generalize. And your ball is going to have like a lot more damage threat, so you can kind of just play passively to hold space more instead of having to aggressively take the space. Because if you try and push like really aggressively into their line, you're probably just gonna lose it. So you kind of have to trust that your team can take some of these angles, or at least be like in somewhat useful positions, and then use that to your advantage. Weird champ fire strike. I don't. Nah, that's fine. I was gonna say I don't love dropping here, but since your ball is going in now and stuff. Yeah, this is fine. Just hold the corner. No, 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 no. You don't need to go forward. Just hold corner. You don't even need to shield. Literally just chill. This is good. Okay, your ball is doing things, so now you can go in a little more aggressively. Yeah, play it in, play it in, play it in. I feel like you backed off a little early there, but see, your DPS are doing a ton of work here, and like, you're holding the space, and that's perfect. You can go in aggressively for the cleanup here. Yeah, good following on this. Nice. I hope you kind of look for a shatter on Zarya, because you're probably tracking that she has grab soon because she hasn't used it yet. So hold space, remember, don't get too aggro. You're shielding nothing valuable right now. Good kite. Nice shatter. Beautiful. Yeah, that was really smart to use that as a counter after your McCree got shattered. Kind of a haywire charge, but that's just how it goes sometimes. I'm not going to cut it for that. Yeah, unlucky. I think that charge was a mistake, though. Because, like, you kind of gave... Like, it was going for the carry play yourself, but then, like, you really need to be doing the supportive Ryan right now in this comp. So... Good block on the nade. Unlucky. Nothing you could really do about the charge into the grav. Make sure you're looking to resync with your team here, because my guess is at least one more person will probably die before you're back in the fight. Oh, it's a miracle. Be careful on the aggro, but... Okay, now that you have the kills, go all the way in, all in, all in, all in. Yep, just keep shield botting in, let your DPS out to follow up. Go in with Soldier. Like, I get that you're low, but you still have full shield. You guys can pick off the Zarya here, and that would be a huge thing. Yep, McCree does it without you. Like, you're playing really passively in this cleanup phase, and, like, I get that, I told you to hold space, and, like, it's generally the right idea in this comp, but when your team has the advantage, you can play up for that aggression. Like, I make the same mistake on Sigma or whatever, where I'm not, like, watching the team's tempo enough, but I don't really like this. Yeah, better to head back. It's kind of greedy. You're too far in the choke here. Yeah, it cost you your whole shield. Like, you have to commit to the corner. I hope you look for a shatter here. I feel like you could land a big one. Nice, beautiful. I don't mind the charge, because they're further away and your team can still probably follow up on it. But normally you wouldn't charge into the shatter, of course. Yeah, look for the kill on Zarya. Beautiful. Yeah, you can. Your team should be able to get this. Don't chase her too far. You can't catch up. Yeah, just leave it to your pursuit team. Like, don't overextend on things that you can't kill, like outside of your own controlled space, when you have the long range threats and the ball for the finishing up. Like, you have to trust your teammates on some things like this. I don't love, like, do not play cart here. I would rather have you play here or commit to playing in here, though this is really risky and you need your team on board with it, because otherwise you won't get heals. Or you could honestly probably play here, but it gives them kind of a long sight line here that's kind of sus. So usually I would recommend just playing here. Like, you can drop down to cart if needed, but it takes off that line of sight, and you can keep shield early. And then the problem with here is that due to this the angle of this ramp, you have a lot of cost in terms of shield or HP or healing that you need in order to get back if they put in heavy focus fire. So, like, you're always gonna have to be watching for that, and it's kind of scary. And you might have been able to shield the junk there too. Like, you can watch the off angle more from this angle. This fight was already lost, so as soon as your DPS go down, so just die on cart or whatever, and nice takedown on the junk. Yeah, this is fine. You guys are doing fine on time bank too. They only have 2 fights left. Hush, Tweety. McCree's popping off. Nice. Hold the corner. Hold the corner. Don't hold cart. You're taking, like, because once again you're in this hallway. Be careful on the aggro. Nice block. Please don't charge in. Nice. Now charge in. You can't. I don't. Nah, never mind. Beautiful fire strike. Nah, you don't need to block it. Doesn't really matter. He's not gonna burst you down fast enough, especially when you have a Mercy on you. Pick which corner you're gonna hold here. They only have one fight left. Nice. Okay, so they couldn't touch. Okay, so your team is running basically the same thing. Just a little brawlier because you have the Junkrat now instead of the Soldier, which is good for you, I would say, because it means that as long as he's vaguely staying near you, he's gonna give you a lot more pressure. I would just crouch my payload now, right? Like, there's no reason to burn the shield. Unlucky that McCree gets hooked, just keep pushing it. I don't really love that. You can't ensure the kill on it. I mean, I like that you're, like, looking at the hog, but it just, yeah, no, you wasted charge too, and now you're not on the front line where most of the damage is. Like, I get that you want to kill the hog, but there's nothing you can feasibly do about it. Good shielding the res. It's like, if there's nothing that you can do about it, ignore it. Leave it to your team. Because otherwise you're just wasting resources in, like, an inefficient manner. Or call it out to your team if anything. Yeah, like, if you can land the charge, I don't mind going for the charge on that. But, like, if it's a hard to land charge, or if it's just, like, smacking him, smacking the Roadhog's never gonna do anything. Shatter this, shatter this. You can 100% get the shatter here and get the cleanup, and you'll get a free cap. Okay, looks like ball cleaned it up. Destroy the TP, help destroy the TP, it's in the corner of your vision. Okay, well, whatever. Ooh, I don't like charging there. As I'm glad you cut that short. Nice fire strike. Play an aggro. Your team can, but don't push in, yeah, don't push in. You're making a good choice here. Because your DPS can't follow up as soon as you go in. Really good discipline. Beautiful. And yeah, just kite back on discommit. It's kind of scary. Okay, nice. Huge block. Beautiful. Really nice. Yeah, just shield bot, shield bot. All you have to do is stay alive now. Nice block. Okay, move up to corner. Yep, you can just play this wall. Ooh, be careful here. You're opening yourself up to enemy angles. Careful your anti. Yep, good back off. Yep, good focusing the threat. Yeah, I mean, this is all great. Good choice to not pursue that. Not really worth fire striking. It wouldn't have gotten the kill on her, and you have shatter. Once again, no reason to fire strike. Good pin. The shield bot, shield bot, shield bot. Not a really high value shatter. I don't really like it. You get the kills on the hog from it, but, like, I feel like it wasn't valuable enough versus, like, focusing the squishies in it. Big fire strike lineup, nice. Your team has the advantage here still, especially now it's res. Don't push up too far. Nice, good cap. Overall, I would say that was just pretty solid play all around. It went pretty fast as far as replays go, because there wasn't like that much in terms of like hard concepts or anything that I had to touch on. But I would say just make sure that you're like, first of all, kudos on the discipline. Like that was like you had some really good decision making overall. I think my things would be trying to keep up with your team's tempo for one, because like when your teammates are committing in, you want to be committing in too, like even if it's not like the optimal timing and stuff. And if it's cleanup and your teammates are going for the cleanup, like definitely help support them. You don't have to like go in like feeding style or anything, but you can shield bot in or whatever and give them options for that. So like try and look for your team's movement. Like you were doing really good matching their kite back, I think, on Orisa too, and like watching for the reses that your Mercy were. But like just try and refine that as much as possible, because that's so valuable on Reinhardt. And then I think, I think maybe my other thing would be watching to make sure you're not biting off more than you can chew, like in terms of targeting, because there were some times that you did get led along for a little bit by enemies or like got distracted by the hog and stuff. And I remember that you've had issues with this in the past where like just nobody targets the hog or whatever, and that's sometimes how it jives. And I remember that you're not always in voice chat, if I remember right. So like obviously there's not always, like you can't always do everything. Well, you can never do everything, but like make sure that you're doing what your hero can do, because if you're turning around to like hammer a hog or something, but then you have a Junkrat and an Ashe on the enemy team pointing at their guns at your back, and there's a Reinhardt there too, like that's not a valuable enough of a trade, especially when you can't even ensure the kill on the hogs. Like make sure that you, like when you're fire striking or charging or using your hammer or whatever, that you're able to actually get the value that you want out of that. Especially if you have your ult, you don't need to be going for just the ult charge plays and extra damage, because that extra pressure is not always useful. Okay, let's see if I can do something here. So I'm going to talk about meta stuff. Okay, so there's full screen windowed. Big pen. Seeing if I can get my epic pen working. Well, it doesn't seem to be showing up. Right, I need it to be display capture. I don't know. I have to check real quick if my Streamlabs likes that. It does not. Okay. works. Nope. Okay. Well, it doesn't look like I get to use my drawing program. Okay, let's try next solution. See if I can open Paint. Hey, here we go. I don't have the text box open here, but that's too bad. Okay, so what we have going here is we have tracer nerf, damage fall off, or damage drop off, increased, or I'll just say shorter range. Zenyatta nerf, less discord, less ranged discord, and echo nerf, less ammo, less beam duration. Okay, so right off the bat, like before you had your boy Zenyatta here basically just dominating the meta. I don't remember how he looks, but there's our Zenyatta. He was basically just dominating the meta because of his sheer damage output and like the sheer spam, and I guess Echo too. Here's Echo. So, like, okay, well, that didn't work the way I wanted. So, basically, the issue with these heroes is that they had too strong of a spam win condition. So, like, normally you have a couple different matchups, right? So you have your you have your brawl, you have your spam or poke, and you have your dive. So spam beats brawl because it draws out the resources of brawl. Like brawl is focused on that mid fight, so if you can prevent that mid fight from occurring and playing on the poke phase, your team is just going to be stronger. So the spam comp has a significant edge there. And then the brawl beats the dive because the dive is all focused on rapidly closing the distance, which is great against a spam comp, which because a spam comp normally is all about keeping that distance. So you like if you can match that distance closing, suddenly you have a really strong matchup. But then the problem is dive can close that distance, but then the problem is that brawl wants that distance closed, and they're all focused on having power when the distance is closed. So you have kind of this triangle here. So the problem is when you have dudes like hybrid comps will pick something in the middle. So like you have this this ball comp here. I'll draw a little hamster here. Here's Mr. Hamster. So basically the problem with the hybrid comps, or well, not a problem per se, but the challenge with it is that you have to remember that it has 2 win conditions. So it's going to be weaker at both of them, but it has these options. And depending on how strong the win conditions are, it can cause issues. So like the divey aspect of so like the ball Sigma Tracer Echo Zen Brig comp, that was a hybrid spam slash dive comp. You'd have the spam win con in the Sigma and the Echo and the Zen, and then the dive win con in the ball and the Echo to some extent. She has some dive capabilities, but mostly the ball and Tracer. And now you have your Diva instead of the Sigma, or you're running like a Zarya or whatever happy family. So the problem was basically that the spam win con, so like normally you would beat a dive comp by like having more brawling power, so like to invalidate the, like make it so that your backline is safe and so that the enemy team can't really find those isolated targets to close the distance on. But then the problem is if they have a spam win condition too, like right, like if this ball comp has this spam win condition, suddenly this brawl comp no longer wins against them, like depending on how strong the spam is. So then it's like, well, what beats this now? You can be like, if the dive beats the spam and then the brawl is beaten by its own spam in the combo, then you don't have that many other options except maybe to run like a brawly dive hybrid or something. Which is kind of where things go, except that the problem is the spam win con is still kind of outvaluing this brawl here. So like there's almost no reason to do it, and that's why you saw like the mirror. But now with the Echo and with these Echo and Zen nerfs, suddenly you have a much weaker spam win condition, which makes that brawling power against the dive threat significantly stronger. So that's why we're kind of seeing your boy Monkey come back into the meta. I don't really know how to draw a monkey, if I'm honest. Let's see. Maybe something like this, vaguely. Kind of looks more like a frog. I don't know. Close enough. But, oh yeah, there, that's pretty close. So you have your boy Monkey coming back into the meta, and, Zarya. I can't draw Zarya, so I'll just draw her little bubble thing. So the reason that you have like Monkey and Zarya coming back into the meta is because they have that brawling power to kind of hold space better, which means that generally if you play it right, it's very hard to dive the backline, because like, so usually what you'd be running with it is like the Ana Brig or like the Ana Mercy or something. So like the whole idea with it is that you're not trading your backline, because you can still send your Monkey or your Tracer, or even like honestly probably just your Tracer, because Tracer is just still good. You can probably send your Tracer into the enemy backline and kill their Zen, and then suddenly your backline is pretty sturdy because you have this brawl power and like the Brig and the Zarya and the Ana, and you're not really that worried. So like you have this significant advantage in the matchup, and Echo isn't really strong enough looking, and neither is Zen, to really force out and pressure the Monkey and the Zarya right, like that well if you play it right. So I kind of see the meta shifting in a couple different ways. So before, it was this dive spam. So I guarantee you that the spam win condition is going to be weaker, which means that I'm almost certain we'll see more brawl. So I don't know if it's going to be I don't know if it's going to be like this double bubble monkey Zarya dive, or if it's going to be it'll probably be like a Reinhardt diva brawl on control point maps or something like that, or maybe it will just be monkey Zarya for everything, or maybe monkey diva, or I could see ball Zarya. That's like a brawly dive kind of hybrid. Like you get a mix there. So I think, but I'm almost certain that we will be seeing more brawl with that spam win condition weakened. So of course, it's important to remember that Tracer got nerfed and Ball has gotten nerfed recently. So the dive win condition is arguably weaker too, meaning that we might genuinely just see a spam comp come in as a counter comp to the Monkey Zarya. But then it's like, that kind of raises some questions though, because that would imply like Monkey Zarya is already a brawl dive hybrid. So your spam comp would need enough spam, like it would need enough brawl power to deny the dive, like the hard dive, while also being spammy enough to actually pressure out the brawl. So like I could see something like Orisa based maybe coming in after, but I'm pretty sure we'll be seeing a decent amount of this double bubble Monkey Zarya for a while, or maybe even just dedicated Reinhardt. Because once we get thoroughly into the Monkey Zarya as like the meta, it'll probably just be more valuable to run a Reinhardt instead. I don't know if still with Zarya or not, but just because at that point, if there's a brawl dive comp, you can just overpower it by investing fully into that brawl win condition, because then their dive win condition is pretty much just completely at a disadvantage. But then of course you can run a spam comp in return against it, which then is weaker to that brawl dive. So you kind of end up in this middle circle. So the fundamental idea is I don't know. I don't know where the meta's gonna go. Just my my theory work on it. And I thought it'd kind of be an interesting thing to talk about and like its potential implications. Like I think we'll probably be seeing more Sombra, because she has like a lot of synergy with those brawly comps, even though she isn't a brawl character herself. And with Tracer getting weaker, I think Sombra, especially at like high tiers, can get more value. I think in low tiers, Tracer is still going to be better, but I think Echo is still going to be the main choice, but I could see people running Echo, Tracer, McCree, Ashe. I don't honestly see people running Hanzo because I feel like he's too weak to dive himself. At least in the double bubble comp. Well, no, okay, never mind. I think that he actually could get some play on some maps. I think that he's strong enough with like his ult, especially with the Zarya combo option, and at burning down Monkey before he enters, that I think if you have a really good Hanzo on your team, I'm pretty sure you could get enough value out of it. I don't see Torbjorn coming in. I think he's just outvalued by McCree here. Even though Torb is more durable versus the dive, I think he makes your team too weak versus the spam win condition. So it's like kind of awkward. We also might see more Reaper, especially as comps become more brawly, and Mei as the comps become more brawly, because like those two are always going to show up when the comps become brawly. Like they're just really strong in the brawl. So that's like the DPS line here that I think we'll be seeing. I think probably the biggest culprits are probably going to be these three. I don't think the Ashe is as strong now, because I just don't think she's going to find as much value, and she has a lot less brawling power. And I don't think that spam win condition is going to be worth running enough. Like she's an option probably over Echo, especially on longer sightline maps like Blizzard World. But in terms of support line, we'll probably see Brigitte a lot, because I think you really want that brawling power from her in addition to the anti-dive. So, and probably Ana for the double bubble, because she just strictly outvalues BAP, I think, in that comp, because she just gets more consistent power, and her nano is really powerful for enabling Monkey. Oh, we could see more Doom in this comp. I don't know if Doom's in a strong enough place, though, still. I think Zenyatta is still good. So I think he's still a viable option, but only with ball. I don't think he enables Monkey enough. So that's like if you're still trying to run like the ball Zarya maybe. But even then, I think I would still prefer Ana. So like I think Zen will be pretty niche. He's still good, and still probably excellent on ladder, but I don't think he's valuable enough in the pro scene to become like meta. I think Lucio is definitely a possibility, but then the problem is, yeah, it's hard to justify Lucio versus the Brig, because he doesn't offer nearly as much peel. So I think we'll only see that when we start shifting away from the Monkey, away from the Monkey towards the Rein, because like once you have the Rein, and once the enemy team has a Rein, you start to need that Brig a lot less. But it depends on if Tracer stays in the meta, I guess. Brig is arguably less needed too, considering that now you now with Tracer's range reduced, you don't need that win like that counter as much Tracer check anyways. And of course Moira would come in if Lucio comes in. I don't like the Moira Brig because it's just kind of redundant, and you're dropping a lot of utility generally to run Moira. But if it shifts towards like a dedicated brawl, or even just towards Lucio at all, Moira is always an option, which is kind of like, that's what we saw for a bit around the grand finals-ish time, was we saw that double bubble meta emerge with Moira, Lucio, Sombra, Tracer, sometimes Reaper, and Monkey D.Va or Monkey Zarya. I think it became Monkey Diva for a bit, but tank line, Monkey. I think Monkey is really well designed in terms of like his enduring value in the game still, and I think that his brawling power, but also having flexibility, will make him a solid meta pick for a bit. I think Ball is still frankly very good and will probably be the choice in hard dive by like a long shot, and in hybrid comps, like in spam dive hybrids. So like I don't think spam dive hybrids are going to move completely out of the meta. And I think Ball is definitely still strong enough and is probably the strongest tank overall right now still. So I think he'll be sticking around still. Definitely Diva for hard dive and spam. And hybrid, because there's not really like a full spam comp that I would recommend running, I don't think, in this meta, like in the pro scene. So I think we'll be seeing Diva more when people do like a spam dive hybrid with the Ball. But then I think that we'll be seeing the Zarya in Brawl hybrids. So some people will run like the Ball Zarya. I personally think Ball Zarya is weaker than the Monkey Zarya after watching some of Natter's stuff. I just don't see it getting enough value, but it does let you run, like running the Ball does let you run the Zen, which can still be potent even with his nerfs. And so basically I think most of the meta will comprise of these four tanks. You can kind of mix and match them. Like you could run the Monkey Diva, Monkey Zarya, Ball Diva, Ball Zarya, probably even Monkey Ball, but I really don't think Monkey Ball is great. Actually, it's probably terrible. Don't run Monkey Ball. But then, of course, the biggest thing is you got your boy Reinhardt here, because I am almost certain that as soon as the meta shifts more towards brawly dive, we will see Reinhardt coming in at some point. Like, it's almost inevitable if spam becomes weakened that Reinhardt comes in at some point. But of course, people might be just happy enough with the mirror and just like small DPS tweaks and stuff that there might just not be any need to run the Reinhardt. And he still might get too abused by the Echo. I don't think we'll be seeing Hog. I don't think we'll be seeing Orisa. Sigma might be good on control maps still, and sometimes with the Rein, but it's hard to justify him over the Diva, the Zarya. And like with the Ball Sig, I think that's still a viable comp, but I think it just gets outpaced by the Diva now. And I think that it's not strong enough versus the Ball Diva variant to make it justifiable. And that concludes my wonderful meta talk for the day and my one VOD review. I'm at like an hour of footage. I only do like 1 to 2 hours on the Saturdays. I'm probably going to try and stream again next Saturday. I can't guarantee any streams during the week, of course, because of classes and just other stuff. So I'll probably just keep it to a weekly stream. It'll probably be around the same time, 3 p.m. CST-ish. So if you have VOD reviews, feel free to submit them. If you have questions, drop them down. Guide ideas, can write them. And with that, I'm probably going to call it a day. Take a shower, do some Genshin Impact, all that. So, thanks for listening in, peeps. once I find my mouse. End stream.